Hi, I'm Cece Joy. Thanks for tuning into my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make your own pre-flats out of some upcycled materials. This is not my pattern. It was given to me by a friend who found it online, so I am just going to share the dimensions with you and show you how you can make your own. Since we're using upcycled materials, let's start by preparing our fabric pieces. I'm going to be using a baby blanket that's made of 100% cotton jersey knit for the newborn pattern. And all I'm going to do to prepare this is just cut the binding off around the edge and then fold it into quarters. Now I'm hoping to get 2 flats out of this from the newborn pattern, so I'm just checking the measurements to make sure that the pattern will fit onto this square. And for the toddler size, I'm going to be using one of my husband's army t-shirts. He wears a size large. This is 100% cotton. There are t-shirts that are made from polyester, rayon, and other materials, but I highly recommend anything above 95% cotton for making diapers because it's absorbent. And I'm doing the same thing here. I'm just making sure that pattern's going to fit within this t-shirt, and yes, it does. This step is entirely optional and will depend on the shirt that you're using, but this one is a little bit wonky, so just to make sure I'm working with 2 completely flat pieces, I'm just cutting around the seams, all the way around the shoulders and the neck, so that I'm just working with 2 flat pieces of material. I'm going around the front first, and then I'll turn it over and do the back side as well. Now let's take those dimensions and turn them into usable patterns. Feel free to pause over any of these images and write the dimensions down for yourself. This step is also optional. It depends on how often you plan on remaking diapers. Since I wanted a pattern that I could reuse over and over, I went ahead and taped 2 pieces of construction paper together. You can also use cardboard or butcher's paper or wrapping paper, whatever you have laying around. I cut the paper itself to the outermost dimensions of the pattern. Once I had that done, I measured out where the wings would be and then cut them out. Now this pattern only has the dimensions for how wide that center piece should be. So what I did was I took the measurement of the overall width, subtracted that dimension, and divided that by 2 to decide how far in the wings should be cut. So once I cut out both of my patterns, I went ahead and laid the patterns out on the fabric and traced it out with a washable marker so it'll come out in the wash. And then I'm just going to cut all the way around those marks. Since I laid this pattern out on the fold to get the most out of my fabric, I'm just going to cut down the fold to separate these, and that's going to be enough fabric for 2 flats. Another way you can lay out your pattern to cut is by folding it in half lengthwise, since the dimensions are exactly the same on both sides. Fold your fabric in half lengthwise and lay your pattern on like so. That way you're basically cutting out half the steps. Now you're ready for the final step, which is sewing your pieces together. I'm using a serger. I'm using the Brother 1034D. I just got it and opened it up this morning, so you're gonna see a lot of beginner's mistakes in this video. I've already threaded it at this point. I just wanted to show you, after the threading, you have to manually chain a few stitches in order to get things going, and I kind of wanted to show you what the workings of this machine look like, just in case you don't have one and you're looking into getting one. I think they're super awesome machines. They're just fascinating to me. I'm just going to quickly demonstrate how you sew all the way around the edge on this machine. It's different than a standard sewing machine where you can stop on the edge and turn. You really have to sew all the way past the edge and then go back to that corner from the second angle in order to continue your stitch, as I will demonstrate here. And in case you're not familiar with a serger, this has a blade on the edge. So when you're cutting out your pattern, always try to give about 1/8 of an inch of seam allowance. That means make it a little bit bigger so that when you're serging, what you're cutting off isn't part of the fabric you wanted to actually use. This is probably the most complicated part of this entire process, which is the inside corner to create the wings. You really can't turn on a serger, at least not a very sharp turn. You can do curves, but the best way to do this is to turn this corner into a straight line by kind of ruffling it up as you go, and I recommend going very, very slowly, like a couple stitches at a time. I went ahead and skipped ahead to the next inside corner so you can go ahead and see it again. So as you can see, I'm just very, very slowly ruffling it up, without making any ruffles underneath the presser foot where they would get sewn in. And once you've snipped off all of your thread tails, your diaper is finished. Congratulations! Now, if you're looking into doing a different kind of flat or you want just a slightly different design, you can completely customize this pattern. One way that I did it was to lay the pattern over the top and cut out the pieces but leave the sides longer. That way I can leave it as a single layer and just have more options for folding. This fabric is Doodles from Joann's. It's 97% cotton and 3% spandex, and it's the same fabric that I used earlier in the video when I was demonstrating sewing the newborn diaper with the foxes on it. That diaper actually came out a little bit ruffled around the edge, and I played around with the differential feed on my machine, and I was able to get my stitches to be really, really straight. Basically, I experimented with the 1.0 ratio speed, and that's causing the ruffles. So I went to 1.25, and that improved a little bit, but where it really was perfect was at 1.5. So what you need to do is play with your machine a little bit and change the settings if you see any kind of ruffling or even puckering for that matter. Now this fabric doesn't fray, and as a square there was no need to put an edge on it, but I decided to put an edge on it this time because of the wings. I just wanted to make sure that that inner corner would never fray, and it has a nice finished look to it. So here's my final product, guys. Thank you so much for watching me. I had a lot of fun making this video and learning about my serger machine, and I can't wait to make more diapers. If you have more ideas for videos, please comment. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.